Welcome to the Next Level Life podcast with Christine Corcoran. This podcast is made for the powerhouse businesswomen who are ready to ignite their fullest potential. This is where we will dive deep into the mindset breakthroughs and sprinkle in some kick up the butt motivation so you can scale your business with confidence and clarity. Whether you're craving more income, impact, or inspiration, this podcast will be your ultimate resource for all things next level. Listen in as we have authentic conversations with game-changing female entrepreneurs as we reveal the secrets of what it takes to rise and thrive. So go ahead, ignite your inner fire, and let's get you taking massive aligned action. Are you ready to elevate? Let's go. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you so much for this download. If you get value from my episodes and you find them really valuable, you love tuning in and hearing all about my crazy antics across the country and across international countries, and you get value from the episodes that I share with you, I would love it if you could take a moment just to leave a review on whatever app you're listening to this episode on. If you go to the show, and then you should be able to scroll right down to the bottom and then find the comment section, and you should be able to leave a review. I would absolutely love it. 5-star reviews get my podcast out there to more people. Honestly, it makes such a big difference to podcasters. So if you wouldn't mind taking 2 seconds out of your time, 2 seconds out of your day today, and take a moment to leave a review. You can do it while we dive into this episode, okay? Oh my goodness, so much has been happening over the last couple of weeks. I can't even tell you. I feel like as much as I came back from Canada and I was like, I'm really keen to just cruise into Christmas. I'm such a byproduct of my own craziness or delusion. And I actually recorded a reel about this the other day because I'm so delusional sometimes. And when I share this at Unstoppable Women, when I think about being unstoppable, it actually is being a little bit delusional, because it's funny because I was talking to a client recently about what she's working on within her business and what's happening. And she was talking about everything's going to get quiet and whatever over Christmas. And I was like, that's actually a lie. Can you please stop believing that? Who says Christmas is quiet for your business? You say it. And if you believe it, it's exactly what will happen. I even find myself even saying things are going to get quiet. Not necessarily quiet, but I'm keen to cruise into Christmas, and December's really chill for me. So I really love that. But I have to remind myself that it's still October. And it's so funny because then I got all these downloads and I was like, well, I'm going to run an event. I'm running a mastermind event firstly next week. So I've got my beautiful mastermind ladies all flying to the Gold Coast, and we're getting a some experiences and a mastermind day, a photo shoot and dinner. I'm so excited. It's going to be so much fun. And I then decided, okay, well, I actually do want to do a client dinner as well before the end of the year. And I want to get as many clients as possible together in Brisbane, and we're going to have dinner. So I'm organizing that. And then I was like, well, I'm going to Brisbane. I may as well run a 2026 strategy day. Why not? And so all of a sudden my calendar is busy and I'm not going to slow down. So it's so funny because who am I to ever think that I'm going to slow down? But I will say over Christmas, I will slow down. I'll probably take I'll probably take a week or two off socials, and, I will prep all the podcasts so I can take a break off the pod, all the things, which is going to be so fun. Plus, I've got some incredible guests coming up for the podcast. Wait till you see who I've got coming. I met some incredible people in America and in Canada, and it's just flooded me with so many amazing people to have on the podcast. So I can't wait to share with you more guests coming your way. And I'm also going to do some live recordings for the podcast too. So I was thinking I would love to, this is probably something I'm going to do in the new year, is I'm possibly going to run an event that will actually have a live podcast recording. It was super fun. I've seen a lot of my mentors do it in America and I love it. And I'm like, I should possibly bring that here. And so because there's also really cool places that are setting up now with live podcast studios, I feel like we can do it now. It's so funny because after I did that last year in America where I had a day in the studio recording live podcasts, ever since then I'm been looking for them here in Brisbane. Brisbane had one when I got back. I was and they're all shit. Some of them are recording studios that look so ugly. They're not really aesthetically pleasing. But now there are so many popping up. I literally went to see a new one recently this week, and they're everywhere now. And they're starting to become more reasonably priced, because when you think about doing a live podcast day, some of them were asking crazy prices that you're just it's not worth it to go and spend a whole day recording podcasts and spending thousands of dollars just to get the video content. Unless you've fully monetized your pod, it's probably not worth it. So it's so interesting that more and more it's making it more accessible. So I'm thinking of possibly running a podcast live event sometime next year. I'm going to see. But anyway, so much to tell you. So much what I'm working on this month as well. I've got a live accelerator, 3-day accelerator happening online. For those of you who really want to hit 10K months and go into Christmas with a game plan so you don't have that income slump, come and join me. It's called Predictable 10K Months, and it's happening the 12th to the 14th of November. The link is in the show notes. All right, let's get into today's episode because I have a really good one for you today. How to rewire your brain for bigger sales and success. Now, this has come off the back of a couple of conversations that I've been having with clients that have had levels of success happen this year and have had the contraction last longer than they'd hoped, and have also recognized some self-sabotaging behaviors that are kicking in that are causing them to sabotage their next level. And so this shows up in so many different ways, from procrastination, right? Like they know what they need to do, but they're just not doing it. Doubting whether they're even worthy of raising their prices or serving more people. They feel like they're at capacity, or they haven't searched out new ways to run their business in a way that is from a place of ease and flow, as well as more profitable. So having a conversation around different changes of facilitation within their programs, and like feeling like they have to do it all themselves and controlling every part of their business instead of actually getting team. Like there's so many things that show up. So there's so many belief systems that show up as we stretch to that next level. And so I want to touch on firstly our nervous system, because this is usually when we're stretching to the next level. So this can show up if you've hit plateaus, or you know you want to go to the next level, but for some odd reason it's just not happening. You want to ask yourself why that's happening, because we need to unpack the subconscious patterns that are showing up, whether it's around you serving more people, around visibility, around money, around your capability, like your worth, all of it, because it's all deeply ingrained in us. And because, especially too, like if you haven't had a level of success before, you don't know what it's like. Secondly, if you don't have representation of it in your world, of it being safe, then sometimes your nervous system can reject it. And we need that representation. So that's why I travel. That's why I go to the States. That's why I go and have conversations with incredible people, to make it feel more possible for me to have next level results, right? You've got to feel safe. Otherwise, you will absolutely sabotage it. So I'm going to talk about this in so many different ways. All right, let's start firstly with your nervous system. The way that our nervous system can reject the very success that you say that you want is because you either burn yourself out. If you think about your nervous system as the climate control, it's another way to think about it, right? Like it's your climate control of what you believe you are safe to experience. All right. So, and your nervous system will have a record of all the things that you've experienced and what you believe is possible for you. And your nervous system has had certain experiences as well that's pushed it out of its comfort zone. And so if you think about it a little bit like your comfort zone, right? Like it's the climate control of your body. And when we push up against new barriers, things we've never experienced before, new heights of success, new heights of money, new heights of capacity, your nervous system goes, oh, I don't know if we can handle that. And it clicks in the temperature control and brings you back down to where you feel most safe, most familiar. Okay. Now, based on what your nervous system's evidence is and proof from the past and what you've experienced in the past, what its normality is will determine what you feel is possible for you to move into. So for instance, I have a client that recently identified that she feels most familiar in the struggle. And I even identified this as a belief system I worked through last year around like it has to feel hard, right? And so the hard, the hustle, the struggle felt so familiar that outside of that, she doesn't know what else it is. Right. So her nervous system is like, no, this is where we're safe. This is where there's certainty. This is so familiar. Let's just stay here, even though it sucks, even though it's fucking hard. And so what will happen is our nervous system will cause us to sabotage other good things happening because we don't feel comfortable in the good, in the success, right? So we need to create opportunities for us to experience next levels of success and normalize it as best you can. So you want to do some nervous system work. So this is why I love breath work. This is why I really pay attention to your intuition and your body. And you want to make sure that you're nurturing your body to serve and hold more of what it is that you're wanting to bring in. And so for me, working out helps with that. Lifting weights helps with that. Working on my nervous system capacity of burnout. So noticing where am I at my edge and what are my boundaries in order to protect myself? How am I taking care of my energy? Because it's not even just energy wise, whether you're tired or not, it's actually your emotional energy, right? And what you feel you're capable of holding. And so you want to look at all of that because it could be causing your body could be causing you to reject that level of success. So, I mean, I don't really have 7 hours to go through with you in depth in this, but I'm just going to touch on this. So one, it could be your nervous system. Two, it could be your money stories that could be blocking you to charge more, to receive more, to hold more at a next level of capacity, right? So if you have money stories around your ability to manage money, to the responsibility of money, whether you have bad relationship with money now, it could be holding you back from receiving more because you have this proof from the past and you have this evidence that you have the belief that you're leaning into that you cannot handle it, or that you're bad with money, or that money is bad, or money is evil or dirty, or whatever it might be. So the money stories could be holding you back from receiving more money. And so you want to start working on your money mindset to support the next level of success, because we've got to rewire that. Otherwise, you will always reject it. Okay. So even if like logically you know better and you're like, oh, I know that I have that belief system. But if deep down, every time you interact with money, that shows up for you, you will absolutely have that continue to show up until you do the work to release it. Okay. The next one is visibility, our ability to like step into the next level of visibility. Your definition of what success looks like, your definition of what visibility is. And we look at sometimes, so our nervous system or our subconscious mind understands that when we're putting ourselves out there for more visibility, even though we know we need it for our business, when we're putting ourselves out there on the internet, we know there's a potentiality of being trolled, of being judged, of being rejected, of being whatever, right? We know that's a possibility. So there is a feeling of, is this safe for me? So when you think about this next level of success, if visibility is one of the things that comes to mind, you may associate visibility with high risk. And ideally what we want to do is make the visibility feel safe in order for you to feel safe to be seen. So there could be two parts here. One, it could be the visibility at the next level, or it could be already feeling unsafe to be seen in who you are, your authenticity. Like if you've already had some belief systems or experiences in the past that made it feel unsafe to be seen, then absolutely it's something you need to work through in order for you to be able to open yourself up to more visibility. And so we want to create an opportunity for you to feel seen. So I said to my client, actually the other day, I had a different client working on this, and I said to her, what do you think is going to change if you have more visibility? And she was like, oh, I'd have to be more consistent. And I'm like, are you not consistent now? And she's like, oh, kinda. Oh, I'd have to, but there'd be pressure. Like she associated more visibility with pressure to show up consistently. And I was like, that's actually not true. That's a story that you're telling yourself. You get to choose. Right? And I think that sometimes we've got to remind ourselves that it's still your platform. You get to choose. Like even though other people are asking more of you, it does not mean that you have to give people what they want. You do not mean you have to show up consistently in the way that you don't want to show up, right? And same thing, like I asked her, like, what do you think else would change? And she would like, there'd be an expectation of me. And I was like, based on whose opinion? So this is what our brain does to us, right? It throws us all these curveballs to keep us playing safe in order to keep us playing small, because it determines small being safe. So if visibility is one of those crutches for you, you want to acknowledge that and be like, okay, what do I need to believe about visibility and success in order for me to feel safe and comfortable moving towards it? And I said to her, once we mapped out, like, what do you think would be happy, like at that next level of success, next level of income that you want to achieve, what do you think would change? And she listed out a whole bunch of different things that she think would change for her life. And I said to her, but what would change day to day? Like, would you still go to your desk and serve your clients? Yes. Would you still show up and create your podcast? Yes. Would you still make dinner for the kids? Yes. Would you still go to the gym? Yes. Like, really, how much will change? And I tell myself this all the time as well. Like, how much will really change? Like, you might get more opportunities, which would be super fun. Like, I think sometimes we sort of remind ourselves that the story that our brain is telling us isn't necessarily true, and you've got to bring it back to feeling more safe. Okay, so ideally what we want to do when we're thinking about that next level of success, we want to normalize it as much as possible in order for us to feel safe to move towards it and to not sabotage it. So this is where I like to pull people off pedestals. So if there's someone that you look up to that you're like, oh, I would like that level of success, then I want you to pull them off a pedestal. Stop putting them on the pedestal and humanize them. You've got to start to see people as people and recognize that you have similar qualities. You have different qualities as well, like that make you human, and so do they. And allowing yourself to not put people on pedestals, because you are going to separate yourself from the version of success that you believe is possible for you. We also want to make sure that you're acknowledging that your next level is absolutely inevitable. So my beautiful go-to mindset reframe for this is helping clients to break through to their next income level or then push through a plateau, is to normalize the next level, right? Because what we do is we write down these next level goals, or we think about what would be experiencing at that next level. Like if I think like back to last year, right? I'm like, I want to be a best-selling author. I want to have an incredible event. Like I want to go to America and speak on stages in America. All of that has happened this year, and I don't feel very different. And one of my friends actually said to me the other day, like, "Oh my God, you're doing so much. This is so amazing." And she was like talking it up, and I was like, "Yeah, but I'm still me, and I'm still sitting in my office recording my podcast with you today." And I feel like sometimes we build it up into our heads to be that so much is going to change and we're going to be different and all these things. And yes, we do evolve. Like, yes, we're going to change and all that thing. But really, it's not that different. And so if you're even looking at me and going, wow, I would love that. Like I'm still sitting in my office, responding to people in Slack and sending messages and running my coaching sessions and doing all the things, right? So not a lot has changed. Even though I've got the opportunity to go to America, that was amazing, but I don't feel any different. And so what I want you to do is look at your next level, not as this big scary thing. Look at this next level as it's inevitable, and you want to normalize it as much as possible. How will you feel? Often what we do is we like build it up into our heads to be this big thing, and then our brain and our subconscious mind and our nervous system is like, that's scary. Oh my God, so much is going to change. It's the unknown, right? But what if you just normalized it? What if you're like, yeah, that's normal for me? Oh, that would be pretty cool, right? Like we want to bring it in and allow it to be, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is normal for me. I get to experience this, right? And so think about it, like what's your next level goal? What do you want to do? You want to hit 500K for the year? You want to have sold out launches? You want to have an incredible event? You want to speak on stages? I want you to visualize that happening and bring it into yourself, right? So often what happens when we visualize it, we kind of see it outside of ourselves. And we want to bring it in and be like, what would it feel like for that to be normal? That like I've almost like gone past the excitement piece and just be like, oh yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, that's me. Yep, that's normal. How can you normalize it? Like this is something that always happens. It's inevitable. Like of course, I've put in the work, I've done the hard yards, I've taken the reps, like I've done all the things. This is so normal for me to experience this. The more you can normalize it, the easier it is for you to move towards it, because your subconscious mind and your body and your nervous system are not rejecting it. They're like, oh, this is just normal for us. I can hold this capacity. So I did the same thing with I recognized I had a block around serving more people in one of my programs. And I was like, why is that? And I realized it was because in the first 2 weeks of the new group starting, I felt overwhelmed. And not because I don't think I can handle it. It's actually because I'm overwhelmed, really wanting to get to know my clients' businesses in order for me to give great advice. And so in that first 2 weeks, it's when I'm getting the questionnaires back. It's when people are starting to jump in Slack. It's when we're running the first couple of coaching sessions and I'm getting to know people. And I feel like I'm not able to give great advice yet or even coach them. I can coach them, but I really want to make sure that I'm giving great advice rather than it be off the cuff answers, right? And so I realized that in that first couple of weeks, I feel super overwhelmed because I'm getting to know everyone's businesses and it's a lot of information to digest, right? And so it's in that couple of weeks that I feel overwhelmed, that when I thought about expanding it to more numbers, I was like, oh, but I'm already overwhelmed based on just that first 2-week experience. Isn't that interesting? Do you find that interesting? Do you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, so I'm basing the whole 6 months worth of my experience on those 2 weeks when really the rest of it's great. So I had to rewire that to be like, okay, that's normal. And even with more people, I will experience that overwhelm and that's okay. But then I get to know everyone and it's amazing, right? So I had to normalize that it's actually going to be even better at the next tier of numbers. So allowing yourself to just address wherever the resistance is and ask yourself, is that true? Why am I feeling that? And what do I need to believe in order to normalize it? If that was normal and I was able to handle that and I knew I was able and I was confidently handling that, what would I believe? How would I think? How would I feel? And the more you can bring it in and normalize it, the easier it is for you to move towards it. So that's how you rewire your brain. Now, one little tool I'll share with you as well. The other way that I go about doing this is rewiring is through scripting. And I share this with my clients. We create scripts for them all the time because if you want to update your belief systems and you want to update how you feel about things and you want to start adopting the right state and energy that you want to have in your business, you've got to rewire your brain for it. So I use scripting and we create a script in present tense and we write out all the things in a high vibrational way, really high vibrational emotions, and then they practice it. They read it every single day to rewire it with repetition. And that's how you step into your next level, right? You do the work to uncover all the resistance, all the blocks, all the mindset limiting beliefs, like all of that. And then you need to rewire it for the success that you want, right? So over the year of 2024, like I intentionally went to America to build the belief in the identity that I am someone that travels to America and goes to these events. And then I got invited to speak at an event, right? And then now I'm someone that travels to America and Canada and speaks on stages internationally. And that feels so congruent with who I am now. Whereas previously I was like, oh my God, that would be so amazing. And I built it up to be this big thing. When really now that I've done it, I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. And I wasn't even nervous. Like I wasn't even nervous. Is that like the weirdest thing? And maybe it was because it was a panel. So I wasn't really like, I didn't have to fully prepare, even though I probably would have been fine even if I was preparing and running a full keynote. But at the end of the day, like you've got to normalize it. So normalize it and then use scripting to rewire that part of your brain because otherwise you will default to old belief systems from the past. So that's my take on how to rewire your brain for bigger success and sales. I hope you loved it. Feel free to let me know if you want any more information about anything that I've shared today. Otherwise, put it into practice and let me know how you go. Thank you for listening. And if you found any value out of this episode, make sure you hit the follow button so you get access to the episodes as soon as they are live. And make sure you come hang out with me on Instagram. You can find me at ChristineCorcoran_coach. Have an incredible week.